So Adrian gets the floor, and he gets his 20 minutes of fame. Is that okay?
That's perfect.
And if I do wind down, you don't mind?
No.
Okay. So listen to this, guys. This can help us all. It's really, really fascinating. So,
Great. Hi.
Hey.
Hello. Good to see you all. Thank you so much for having me out today. It is great to be a part of this group. I recently got connected personally with Greg. As he mentioned, my dad and he had been connected for about 10 years. And what I love about 1BC is, compared to other networking organizations that I have seen out there, I genuinely see that there is a true desire to create this, instead of like, you can only have one of this and one of that, which it's fine, but I think it's not the right, that's a scarcity way of looking at the world. And what I have loved about getting to know Greg as an individual and the culture inside of 1BC is that it's a group of people that are really looking to take care of each other, and where we see that the rising tide lifts all boats. And so what I want to talk to you about is, I'm sort of preaching to the converted here. If you guys are here, then you understand how important connections are in order to build your business, of course. And if you think about what's happening in the world, what's happening online, I think we went through this phase where for a period of time, some of us got a little confused, and we thought that maybe the old school way or the old ways of connecting through relationships and referrals wasn't maybe as important anymore, because now we have Yelp for restaurants, and we have all this sort of stuff. And I think the tide is turning, and the people who study the course on relationships are being proven to be the ones who really had it right all along, because it's showing that there's a multi-million-dollar business creating fake reviews on Amazon. We don't know what's real and what isn't real when it comes to anything, really. But certainly when it comes to recommendations and this sort of stuff, and people can make businesses and products and whatever look a certain way online, and we don't know if that's true anymore. And because we don't know what we can trust and what we can't trust, where do we go? We go back to the people that we know that we can trust, because we want to talk to somebody who's had a real experience with whatever it is that we're looking for, that we believe can help us. And so that's really, really important. And raise your hand if you've had this experience. I, all the time, we'll be trying to figure out a new doctor or whatever, and my wife will talk to somebody, or I'll talk to somebody, and we don't even know this person that well, and they're like, oh, well, they really like this doctor, so we're going to go to this doctor now, or we're going to go to this place now. And it's like, we're so hardwired for connection and storytelling that if you can become the person that is able to share those connections, and even more powerfully, if you can become the person that is that magnet for referrals, where you have wowed your customers such that they want to talk about your business, you are in an incredible advantage. And this group is the platform that allows you to do that. And so, raise your hand. Who has ever heard of Dunbar's number? Does anybody know about Dunbar's number? It's like a sheepish little one finger. There we go. Okay. So there was a guy named Robin Dunbar, and he was actually an animal psychologist, right? He studied animal behavior, and they were looking at primates and why primates are more social and more sort of evolved than other animals. And the theory that started to emerge was that they are able to, that it's because of this sort of social net that primates are able to achieve, much like humans. And around that same time, there were some sociologists and psychologists that were working essentially on the same idea around humans. And so these two projects merged. And this idea of Dunbar's number became a thing as a result of that. And what Dunbar's number said, Dunbar's number is actually not one number, it's this spectrum, it's this thing that I'll show you in a second. But the one that's kind of famous is the number 150. So the average person is able to maintain a meaningful, authentic relationship with 150 people. And this is sort of the wreckage of early social media. But there was a company called Path that was created that was sort of trying to be the sort of antithesis to Facebook. And their whole premise was you can only have 150 friends on this platform because it was based around this idea. Well, a couple things. Number one, it's 150 is an average. It's not a law of physics, right? And you all are proof of that. I would imagine that many, if not all of you in this room, have more than 150 meaningful connections in your business world as well as in your personal world. But that's a thing. It's a real constraint that we come up against. And so how do we, as business people who understand the power of a network, how do we play bigger than that? So I want to show you what the whole spectrum is of the numbers. So you've got 5,000 down here. You've got 1,500, 500. This one. Did I screw this up? I screwed it up. Gosh. Okay, sorry. 1,500 at the bottom. Okay, so you've got 1,500, 500, 150, 50, 15, and 5. There we go. Okay, so there are, the 150 are authentic relationships. There are 500 that are more sort of loose acquaintances for you. And obviously there's different numbers, different views of what these numbers are, but this is a good rule of thumb. There's 1,500 for whom you can remember their first name. So the first part of this is, how do we get this 150 number up? And what I would suggest to you is that the way that you are able to get this 150 up is, the 150 is mainly about your mind's ability to hold the details of somebody's circumstances, what they care about, what their values are, what the names of their family members are, all the things that make us a true friend to somebody, because we're able to insert ourselves into their life in a true connectional way, and our brain starts getting scrambled past a certain point, whether it's 150 or 300 or whatever it is for you. And so this app that we have built called Contact Mapping, what we have gone and set out to do is to make it as easy as possible for you, so that you will actually do it, to capture and remember more and more of every person that you meet in terms of the details of their life, so that you're able to follow up in a way that doesn't feel transactional, that doesn't feel self-serving, but that instead inserts yourself into how you can serve them in what they're trying to achieve. And so I just got to meet Ian over here, and we were chit-chatting as we started, and Ian, I didn't know you were a guinea pig, so you didn't know you were a guinea pig, but you were. So Ian and I had this great conversation, and Ian's this amazing guy. He is based out in Golden, actually closer to Genesee Park, and he has 3 little girls who are 8, 4, and 1. The oldest one was adopted. He and his wife were college sweethearts. They just got back from a trip to San Diego, where they road trip to San Diego with a 1-year-old, which you are much, much braver than me, my friend. So, and one of the guys in his office runs a 1BC meeting out of their office, and so he just got connected into this thing, and he's really excited to be getting plugged in here. And that was a 2-minute conversation, probably 5-minute conversation, but I learned a lot about it at that time. But the big thing that I learned, I didn't touch on yet, which is that he grew up in Lakewood, and Lakewood was a very different time, 30 years ago when he was growing up compared to what it is now, where it felt like a smaller town, and it felt like you could get up into the mountains. And so the reason that they chose to live in Golden and Genesee, even though it's really expensive, is because his value in life is that he cares about his family, and he wants to be able to get them up into the mountains and to go enjoy that time. And that's what you're looking for, is you've got to understand what are somebody's values, what do they care about, because that's, if I call Ian and I say, hey, what have you guys been doing up in the mountains lately? How is he not going to be happy to take my phone call? And then if there's business for us to do together, it's going to naturally come up later. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Ian, I got his business card, I'm going to put his contact details in my phone. He and I took a selfie together, which is like the best thing you can do, trust me. Because what it does is 2 things. One, who knows what his, he might have a curly Q mustache in his Facebook picture or his LinkedIn picture. So I want to remember what Ian looked like today. I want to realize that I see that North Metro set of sponsors and trustees in the background, so that I remember exactly where I met him visually just the second I look at that. But 2, I enrolled Ian in the idea that I care enough about you to remember you, that I want to grab a picture together. Yes! We got a selfie going on here.
I don't have one.
Hey, you're starting.
This is good. He's action oriented. So, but you are actually inviting them into the story of I care about you and I'm going to follow up with you, instead of just the normal, nice to meet you, and we do the business card thing and we talk for a minute and I'm probably never going to hear from you, which is realistically how I feel about most conversations that I have in any kind of networking environment, because that's just the reality. The reality is most people are not going to follow up with you. The reality is most people aren't going to respond to your follow-up, right? I send, even inside of 1BC, I sent a bunch of notes out. I went to my first meeting several weeks ago. I sent a bunch of notes out that were customized based on the conversation I'd had, because I mapped all these people, and half of them got back to me and half of them didn't, and that's fine. But the more, this is a memorable experience that somebody doesn't do, that somebody doesn't experience every single day. And it's powerful for that reason, and it's powerful because it's going to help me to remember that Ian is Ian when I walk into a meeting that happens not to be 1BC, and so I don't have that context, and I walk in and I go, Genesee, that's the Genesee guy, and I type Genesee in my phone, and up pops Ian's face, and I go, Ian. And I walk over there and I say, how are those 3 little girls? So to be able to do that at scale, at much, much bigger than 150, is huge. Does that make sense to you? Okay, so the second part comes back to where we opened up around these referrals and how important it is to be someone that comes to mind when the need arises for whatever business that you're in. So these other ones, this is business lunch, let's say. This is somebody that you have some sort of regular cadence, whether it's once a quarter or whatever, to get together with that person, go out for a drink, go out for coffee, have lunch, whatever that is. The 15 is what we call inner circle. And this is what I call 2 a.m. So when stuff hits the fan, when you get a tax bill that you had no idea was coming out of the blue and you're in a cash crunch, or you just got laid off from your job, or something's happening in your relationships at home, or whatever it is, there's 5 or so people that are the people that you know you can call in that scenario. And there's 2 pieces of that, right? Number 1, you have to obviously know that they care about you and you can trust them. But number 2, you have to know they can help, right? You're not going to call somebody, I mean, you might call and tell your sob story to somebody that's just going to listen. But mainly, you need help. That's the reason you're calling this person, and the reason that this is an emergency is because you really need help. And so you have 5 here, you've got 15 here that are, and the 5 is a subset of these 15, right? So you've got 15 here that are the people who are acquainted with the details of your life in a personal and a professional way. So those are mentors. They're people that you want to bounce things off of and that you know you can trust. So you have 5 and 15, but what this doesn't say is that it's a one-to-one relationship. So you can be a 2 a.m. friend, you can be inner circle to much larger groups of people than 5 or 15, even if you only have your inner circle at that level personally of who are sort of the cream of the crop for you. And so in a business sense, to be able to be that kind of person is extremely valuable. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
So how do you become that kind of person? 2 things, right? People don't care what you know until they know that you care. People don't care what you know until they know that you care. So to go and for me to map Ian and to remember the things about him that are important, and then to demonstrate care by continuing to follow up and finding ways to serve him in his life and in his business, Ian's going to know that I care. So that's the path to get there. The second piece is now you have to know something. They do care that you know. So you have to be able to know something, and probably even more importantly, you have to know somebody or somebodies. So what you want to embody is that you are the person who always knows a guy or knows a woman who can help someone with whatever it is that they're trying to achieve. And I'm a startup owner. We're figuring everything out for the first time. We're doing payroll, we're doing workers' comp insurance, we're doing all that sort of stuff. And I could spend hours searching for that on the internet, but do you know what I do? I call Greg, and I say, Greg, who is great at this? Because I know that he cares about me, I know that he has an incredible network, and I know that he cares too much about me to ever steer me wrong or to, he's not going to middle me on something if it's not going to be of benefit to me. And I don't care if he does middle me on something, meaning, like, I don't care if he gets a referral on something, as long as I know that he cares about me. And so to become that person beyond just your area of subject matter, but just to be the kind of person that they go, when I have a problem and I'm just trying to figure out how I solve problems in general, if I call up Ian, he knows everybody. That's, again, really valuable. And the path to both of those places are the same thing, right? You need to take this number to 1,000. And the way to take that number to 1,000, you can't do it with this. Because stuff starts to run together and you can't keep track of people on that level anymore. And so, check my time, okay. A couple more minutes.
Checking time.
All right, I'm good. I'm trying to stay organized here. I don't want to get in trouble. So,
No trouble.
okay, very scared of him. So, all it takes is, this is the motion. I'm going to actually map Ian right now. I'm going to skip putting the phone number and stuff in for the moment just to not bore you with me watching me touch things with my thumb. But I'm going to put Ian in here right now, and I am going to show you how quickly it was for me to get him into my phone. So I got him in here. I would have typed his phone number, whatever, and you're not going to be able to see this well. But this is exactly, this is inside the app, but it's exactly whatever your contact entry form is in your phone. So I put that in there. I'm going to actually go ahead and add his picture here really quick because that's important. We grabbed it together beforehand. So I've got our little selfie that we took, and I'm going to take that selfie and I'm going to zoom it in on Ian. So now I've got Ian on the day we met, so I'm going to remember him forever that way. And I hit done, and normally when you create a new contact, or you take a picture of the business card or whatever it is, that's the end of it. And instead it just popped up and it says, what do you know about Ian Morrison?
Ah, cool.
And so I met Ian at 1BC today, period. He lives in Golden, near Genesee, period. Grew up in Lakewood, period. 3 little girls, 8, 4, and 1, period. Married to his high school sweetheart.
Wow.
Boom. It's in there. And I literally do this between this meeting and my car. I do this with my AirPods driving down the road. Don't tell anybody, but I do. But I'm not typing, right? I'm not even looking at the phone. Because the dictation is going to work. It's going to miss 2 or 3 words. It doesn't matter. And you're going to be able to get back to anybody that you need to get back to. And as soon as I finish that, I'm going to hit the checkbox that says I'm done. And now it's going to say, when are you going to follow up with Ian, and what are you going to follow up about? And so I'm going to say, send a thank you note. And I can pick from a bunch of pre-configured options, so I can do it for tomorrow, for a week, a month, 3 months, a year. Or I can pick a custom date if I need to pick a custom date based on whatever I'm working on. But as soon as I get him into this system, in a week, tomorrow, whatever it is I'm going to do tomorrow, so I can send him a note tomorrow, it's going to pop up and say, Adrian, Ian's on your list of people to follow up today. I'm going to get a notification at whatever time I set. Mine comes at 8:30 every morning. And I start my day with that, knowing who I need to touch base with in my business today to keep relationships moving and growing. And it's so easy and simple, right? Most of the time, somebody pops up and it's, hey, it was great meeting you the other day. Was thinking about you. How are things going? It doesn't need to be, follow-ups can be so simple. Send a text message. If you're a LinkedIn or a Facebook person, find something that they did there and put, and just share something meaningful. Don't just go, hey, thumbs up or whatever. Say something meaningful, but if you just stay in front of people and show them that you care and that you want to be in their life, it's amazing how that keeps you in their mind. And then when their timing changes and something comes up and they need their website built or they need a financial product or they need a new telephone system, whatever comes up, they go, who do I know? And you're in their mind because you have stayed in front of them, but you weren't pitching them all the time. It's as simple as that. So what I want you to do, our website is contactmapping.com. And we give everyone a free 30-day trial.